Hi students, welcome to art class. Today we're going to do Godzilla of the Week and continue our art projects, but first let me talk about turning in work to the office. Now, if you are a remote-only student, here's what you can do. In the office, I have some folders. They're in a box, and I have folders. And you can turn in your work there, and your parents can pick up art supplies there too. And so there's a box that says art supplies drop off, and it's just a box. Uh, the secretary can point you to it, and you're like, hey, there you go, Mrs. Garcia. Anyways, I have a fourth grade folder, so if you're in fourth grade, your parent will look in the fourth grade folder and find the latest art supplies that they need, or fifth grade or sixth grade. So I divide it, by grade. So by grade. Then there's a big green folder in the back, and it says turn in your work here. So if your parent has to turn in some artwork for you, just put it in that green folder, and that's it. It's as easy as that. Some students, usually your teachers will put them in a folder for you, like here, so-and-so, and they'll have your name on it. But I'm only at school a couple days a week, so that's harder for me to do. And so that's why I made this folder system. So your parent can go right to the art folder, look for your grade. You're in fifth grade, they'll go to the fifth grade folder, and then they'll get the art supplies they need. Okay, and if they need to turn something in, they put it in the green folder. Okay, so you can tell your parents, if you are remote only, you can say, oh, you can just go to the office. There's a folder there, a big art folder. I'm going to send your parents an email, but sometimes they don't read that email. So anyways, so I'm telling you, so you might remind them, maybe they'll read the email. Anyways, but hopefully that will be a kind of a convenient way for you to get art supplies. And sometimes you'll ask me, you'll be like, Mr. Smith, can I get an extra whatever? Or I didn't get the art supplies for this week. And I'll just send you to the office. We'll just go to the office before you go home, and there's you go to the art box, folders. There's folders in the box. If you're in fourth grade, you go to the fourth grade folder. It'll say fourth grade on it. You go in there and you get your art supplies. So if you're not remote and you didn't get your art supplies, maybe your teacher ran out for some reason. Maybe she ran out of art supplies. You can go to the office and there's some extras in there. So you can go to the office into that art folder and get them. Okay? So don't forget, there's a folder. There's folders, but they're in the office. They're in the box, and they're organized folders. One for each grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, and then there's also a green folder that you can turn in work. And I collect from it. So I check and I collect homework from that too. Okay? So that's available to you and your parents. Hopefully that will be convenient for you. But I can't always put your artwork in a folder and put your name on it because I'm not always at school. But that folder in the office is always at school, and it's always available for your parents to pick up there. Okay? Great. Okay, so now let's do Godzilla of the Week. So Godzilla 54 won with 10 votes. Rodan was second place with 9 votes. And Biollante only got 4 votes. So next week I'll show you Rodan, and then the week after that, well, we have off next week, but next time we have art class, I will show you Rodan, and then the week after that, I will show you Biollante. So we won't have another quiz for a while. I'm going to because I'm running out of Godzillas to show you. So anyways, here's Godzilla 54. I have an extra big Godzilla 54, so here he is. This is from the first Godzilla movie. Which was in black and white, and it was back in 1954. This was kind of an amazing movie because it was kind of a new idea. Because now we take Godzilla for granted. You can see all the details on his back, which are really sweet. He's got a big long tail here. But anyways, in 1954, this was a new idea, and it actually was kind of scary. Because Godzilla represented nuclear fallout, because Japan had been bombed with a nuclear bomb. And so they were very afraid of radiation poisoning and radiation sickness. And so Godzilla was this representation of misuse of nuclear power. And so Godzilla 1954, the first Godzilla movie, was actually kind of a scary concept for the Japanese people. Now, everybody liked the idea of a big monster fighting and destroying things, so the tone got kind of more fun. So, but anyways, that first Godzilla movie was kind of scary for those viewers in Japan. Nowadays, it's like, oh, it's just a big monster. Yeah, I know. Anyways, that's it for Godzilla of the Week. So, hope you liked it. And let's get on to the art portion for today. Hi, fifth graders. It's time to work on our Dali clock. It's going to look like this when we're finished. It's like a kind of a melting clock based off Dali's, I forgot what it's called, something of time. He has a famous painting where all these clocks are melting. I'll check and I'll tell you what it is next time. Anyways, it's not persistence of time. I don't know. Anyways, so we're going to make a clock like this out of Crayola air dry clay. What I'm going to do is you're going to finish this. You're going to write your name on the back of it. You're going to, with a Sharpie, use a Sharpie. Write your name on the back. You'll turn this into school, and then at school, normally I'd make you do it, but because we don't have class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wash, and so it'll kind of get it. Now, this is an older clock. We actually use black clay. We're not going to do that. But I'm going to do a wash, and what's going to happen is if your marks are deep enough for your numbers, the wash will get in there, and this will look dark. This will look dark. And then I'm going to paint a glaze, like a shiny glaze on top, and it'll look shiny. All right, kind of like it's glass. Okay. But for this week, we're only going to work on this for 1 week. It doesn't take very long. So we're going to create this clock. I'm going to show you how. And then it's air dry clay, so it'll just dry. It'll just dry. You want to make sure you put your name on the back before you turn this thing in, because otherwise I'm not going to know whose it is. Okay, but this is what we're going to make. So I'm going to put this off to the corner here. So what did we get? We got Model Magic. You got this little bit of Model Magic clay, so it's not going to be a very big clock. You want to find a paper clip. So you want to find a paper clip. This is a small paper clip. I thought about sending it home, but you probably would have lost it. Or it's just, I don't know, it's just too difficult. So you can just find a paper clip at home. But don't bend it out. We actually want to use this curved part of the paper clip. We're going to use it like a stamp. Because we don't want to scratch it in. We don't want to scratch in these marks. We just want to we're going to press it in. We're going to press it in. So we need this round part. Okay? So this is a small paper clip. If you had a slightly bigger paper clip, that'll be okay. We're going to use air dry clay. Now, once we open this bag, you have to finish it, right? You can't just do half of it and then take a break. This will dry. So we have to sit and do this all in one sitting. Okay, but it's not too difficult. So let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our bag. Remember, once you open it, maybe you got to cut it. Hold on. You might need to cut the bag to get it out. Okay. Once you start, you have to finish it. So don't take a lunch or anything like in between. So you can get rid of this. So here's our air dry clay. You can don't totally knead it into a ball. Let's see. What we want to do is we want to save some of this. We want to save some of the stuff for extra parts, like the twisty thing, and then there's a little dial, and then the watch hands. So I'm just going to remove, let's see, how much do we want? Let's do about, I don't know, how much is that? About that much. Pause the video and you can see how much that is. About that much. Okay, I'm just going to put this, I guess I'll just put it right here. Okay, you can still see it. So now here's my, now this is different than normal clay. Normally I'd say you just kind of do it in a ball, but what happens is it doesn't totally smooth out. Like you can kind of see that line there still. So so I don't recommend you wad it up into a ball. In fact, let's just kind of like, you kind of try to smooth it. It's kind of hard to smooth some of these parts. And water doesn't do it. Water doesn't work on this thing. So you're just going to try to spread it out kind of like into a pancake and kind of try to smooth this stuff. If it doesn't smooth perfectly, it's okay. But try and try to make a pancake. Now, if your watch is not a perfect circle, that's totally okay, because remember, this is going to be a melting clock. This one's like super melty. It's like a bleh. Like this one, I use more clay. But anyways, it's okay if it's not a perfect circle. So it's kind of like a pancake. You can kind of press it down a little. Okay. Make it kind of thin. Like not super thin, but not, I don't know, about this thickness. Right? Thin, but not too thin. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to create this. It looks like it's like a pizza crust end almost, right? But it's kind of tricky. Remember, this clay doesn't smooth very well like normal clay. It's air dry clay. It's like some kind of weird chemical property. And so I actually I'm going to like fold it over and then kind of try to smooth it, but it'll still leave this kind of mark. It's like a skin mark, but that's actually okay for what we need to do. So watch what I'm going to do. Here's my pancake. And I'm just going to kind of roll it over, kind of like a pizza dough. Not too far, because remember, this is just the edge. You can pause the video if you want to like try it, but this is basically what we're doing. We're just kind of rolling. It looks like a mini pizza, kind of. Pizza crust. We should make pizzas. That's what we should do. Maybe my 4th grade class will make pizzas. I got the right colors too. I like the idea of making. Okay, too bad. You guys get to make a clock. They'll make a pizza. Anyways, buy more clay if you want to make a pizza. Okay, here we go. So anyways, it looks like a pizza, right? And you want to try to smooth it a little bit, like right here. I mean, use your best judgment, right? So like this looks like it's too big, so maybe I'll press it down a little, kind of try to smooth it around this corner. You know, you can kind of use your thumbs and your forefingers, and just kind of like smooth this, right, as best you can. Like I said, if it's a little warpy or funky, it's kind of okay, because remember, it's going to be a melting clock. So if it is perfect, then later at the end you may want to kind of warp it a little. But for now, it's okay if it looks perfect. But if it doesn't look perfect, that's kind of okay too. So you can kind of try. You can try to smooth it. It doesn't smooth perfectly. And remember, water does not work. This is not a watery clay. It's like I don't know what it is. It's air-dried chemical clay from Crayola, so it's safe, supposedly. They tell us it's safe. Maybe. Look at all those words. Uh-oh. You know what they say about too many words? It's like, don't believe them. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's safe. Okay, so anyways, that's the beginning of our clock, right? Now, we had some leftover clay, but let's put in our numbers. Boy, this is almost like too much clay. That's okay. It's probably better to have a little too much extra than not enough. Okay, so now this is where we use our paper clip, and we want to press in to make our numbers. We're not going to make all the numbers. We're just going to make, so what do we got here? We've got 12, 3, 6, and 9. We're going to use some other hash marks. If you want to try to like, I don't recommend it, but if you want to try to make other Roman numerals in here, you can make them. You have to make them smaller. It's kind of hard. I don't recommend it. I just did lines. Oh, one more thing to remind you. You don't get another packet of this. This is expensive. So if you screw up, just don't worry about it. Just that's the way it is. So you can't. If you got one and you messed up, don't worry about it. Just do your project and it'll look good. It'll look fine. I don't care if you don't like it. It's too expensive. This clay's too expensive to give you another packet. So don't be careless, right? Okay, so anyways, I want to do my 12 first. Let's see, here's my 12. It's an X and two ones. So I'm going to push in. I'm going to make my X. And you want to press in kind of far. So how far do you press in is the question. Well, you don't want to poke through, right? I almost poked through there. You don't want to poke all the way through, but you want to go pretty far. If you just do a little bit, what happens is the clay, while it dries, it kind of like, I don't know, it's like, it's airy, right? And it kind of like forms back on itself. So like if you make a real shallow number, it might close up. So you want to, and you might have to press it in later a little more. So you want to press it in, but you don't want to poke all the way through. That's how far you press in. Far, but not all the way through. And you just use the round part. Don't pull this out and scrape it. It won't scrape. It doesn't. This stuff doesn't work very well to scraping. It'll mess up. You just want to poke it in with the nice smooth round part of your paper clip. I'm gonna use this bigger portion. Okay. And sometimes you have to poke it in, like it'll start, like as it dries, you'll want to poke it in a little more because it'll start closing up. You'll see it. Okay, now a nice thing about Roman numerals is they have these like these little serifs on the top and the bottom. So basically they're little lines. And so I'm just going to kind of do those. You don't want to do it, I mean, I guess you could do it all the way. Yeah, why not? On my bigger one, I kind of left a space. So you could, leave a space, but I'm just going to go, here you can see, whoa, focus. You can kind of just see I went all the way through. That's okay. Looks like a Roman numeral. Okay. And remember, you might need to like press in again to make sure it's deep enough, because as the clay dries, it will close in. It'll close in on itself. Okay, now I want to find, I guess I can do the bottom. I'll do the bottom first. I'll do the 6. So let's see. The 6 is a V and a 1. Let's see here. I got my camera in front of me. So you want to go deep, but not all the way through. If you go all the way through, just leave it. Remember, and you're like, oh, can I get Mr. Smith, I screwed up my project. Can I get another packet of clay? No. Why not? Because it's expensive, and you were careless. It's okay. I mean, just finish it. It'll look good by the time I put the wash on it and the glaze. It'll look fine. Remember, it's warping and distorting anyways. Now you want to try your best, but if you mess up, remember, oops, oh, see, I messed up right there. I put a little dent. I can't really smooth that out. Yeah, I'm just going to live with it. It's actually not too bad. And like I said, it might close. It closes up later, too. Okay, so I got a V and a 1. That's my 6. See right here? See how that's not... Okay, focus. Come on, autofocus. Okay. This looks deep, but this part doesn't look deep. So sometimes you have to do it again. Don't be lazy. And press in. Okay. So that's my 6. Now I want to find the center. So the center's about here. I got a 3. So I got 1, 2, 3. Remember, poke them in pretty good. Not all the way through. Got the little top and bottom bars. This kind of clay, you can't really smooth over. Really, for details, it's like you put details on, and then and kind of what we're doing, making indentations. That's really the best way to do it. That's why we're doing it this way. Okay, so for the 9, it's a 1 and an X. X is 10, so a 1 before the X is a 9. So I got an X here. I'm gonna poke in pretty far. Okay. Okay, looks like I think I want the bottom of my X to be a little longer. Okay, now I'm going to do the top. Okay, this part. So because this dries, we only do this for 1 week, but bring it to school when you're done. Like we're off next week because of Thanksgiving. So just bring it back when you can, the week after, and I'll collect them. And then, like I said, when I get them all, I'm gonna put a wash on it. Normally, I'd make you do it. I mean, if we all came back to school, then I'd make you do it. But I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But if we do, I'll make you do it. How's that? Okay, so now we need the other marks just for the other numbers. I'm just gonna use some. So there's 2 marks in between each Roman numeral. So I'm just gonna do a line. Not too long. All right, one there. Got to go deeper. Try to place them where the next numbers would be. So this is like where my 7 would be, and this is like where my 8 would be. Okay, here I kind of ran out of room. They're a little closer together, but it's all good. All right. Now remember, we're going to let this dry for now. We're going to work on these other little parts. But right before we kind of put those on, we may need to press these in a little more because they close up. It's just the nature of this air dry clay. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna move this up a little. I'll put it here for now. Okay, now we have these. We have extra clay, so we want to make these dials, and we want to make these cool watch hands. Notice that it has depth, right? Like there's extra parts. And remember, I said you can't really smooth this stuff out, so these are actually separate parts, and I kind of squish them together to make that. And it has a skin. They don't smooth together very well, so it actually kind of leaves that detail. But again, we're going to use that to our advantage with this air dry clay. And then here we've got like a lot of extra parts, right? And you can tell that I kind of poked in that detail with these. It's like the little grip on the little dial. Same here. It's like a little, looks cool, right? Okay, I'll put this, let's see, is this going to be in focus? Yeah. Okay, I'll put that there so I can see it. So the first thing we want to do, it's not going to be in focus. Okay, here we go. So we want to get some clay, very small pieces, right? So it's going to be about the size of your dial. In fact, maybe even smaller than that. And then I need a real small one. So you can use your watch as a reference. Let's see, is this going to be big enough? I think this is about right. It's going to look like, be like that, right? So not very big. I don't have very much field of vision here. There. Okay, so that's about right. Now watch what I'm going to do. It's a sphere, right? And I got another sphere. Okay, so here it is, right? So first I want to I can just squash this down a little bit, not too much, but it's going to be like a tire. There. Oh, look. So I can smooth that out a little. And you can use your thumb and forefinger to kind of smooth it out. It's like a tire. It's like a, what is that? It's like a cheese. Okay, then I'm going to just put this on the side of my, press it in. Like if you don't press it in, don't press it in super hard. Don't smash it, but you want to make sure it's making contact. Like don't just barely press on, it'll fall off later. If it does fall off, you can use Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue, which is just white glue. Elmer's glue glues these parts on very well. So if your dial does fall off, Elmer's glue, okay? It works great. Now here's I need to get this part, right? It looks like a little, it's like a little detail. It's like another little circle. Basically it's a sphere, right? I'm gonna put it there, and this time, oh, see, I could be a little bigger. Let me get my sphere a little bigger. Let me get a bigger one. Let's see, that one's a little bigger. So sphere, I'm going to put it here, and this is where you do kind of mash it in. So right now it's like a sphere, but I'm going to press it down, and it flattens kind of like a circle, and that's it. And when you press it down, it gives us the detail. It was a sphere, but now it's like a flat circle. But it has it has a little bit of depth, and it looks really good. Looks great. Looks like a dial, except we want to add our detail with our paper clip. So you're just gonna press in, And you want to press these in pretty close because it would be grip for your dial. And you're just going to go all the way around. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you can kind of pat it. I'm curious if it would look good if I put another, I'm going to put another one here. You don't have to do this necessarily, but I'm just going to see what it looks like. Yeah. It's up to you. I added another one. Another thing you can do is, let's see, I don't have anything rounded here. Let's see. You could use stuff like, well, this is going to work. But you can, it's not going to work. I wouldn't do it. Okay, so there we go. So that's pretty good. Looks like a dial. It's big, but it's a nice big dial. Okay, now we need to do this this bigger dial on the top. This is the main dial. This is like to wind it, and this one's like for probably the time. Okay, so this one can be a little bigger, so I'm going to go, you know, let's see, it can be bigger than that. Well, maybe not. Okay, and okay, so I got 3 spheres. One's really small. I don't know. These are similar in size, about like that. Now, keep the bigger one for the main handle, but this one is a little smaller than that. I mean, if they're not exactly the right size, it's fine. It's going to be okay. But this one I want to flatten. This one's going to be the wheel, so I'm just going to press down, and it you know, creates like a kind of like a donut, a wheel. That's going to be the base of the button, so I'm going to put that right here on top. Kind of press down. All right. Then this one, I want it to be kind of like a gumdrop. So I'm going to kind of press down and kind of maybe press down here a little. Let's see. It's like a gumdrop because you have to like turn it, right? All right. And then finally I got this like, it's like a cap. Just going to put it here and I'm going to press down like, so it's like a little, I don't know. It's like a dome. Okay. Now, again, I want to add my lines of detail. So again, I got on this little base part, they're closer together. So I'm going to go real close together, really kind of press in. You can use the side of your paper clip to kind of maybe pull it down a little. I mean, do what you have to do. But it looks good. The nice thing about these lines are the wash, it's like this watered down black paint. It gets in the cracks, and so you'll really see those details if your line is deep enough. So just make sure your line is deep enough. I'm going to go on the other side here. Okay. Pull that down a little. All right. Okay. And then on the main knob, you're just going to not do as many. So maybe I'll do one here. And then maybe like not as close together. So maybe like you can kind of imagine like every other one. It's not totally, they're not as close together. That adds variety too. So it makes this piece distinct. This one, let's see. Yeah, I did something like that. I probably could have made them a little closer together. Okay, so let's see here. Looks good. Now, oh, now I gotta do the watch hands. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I got the knobs looking pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna still lay that flat. Now it's time for the knobs. So the first thing I need some spheres for the centerpiece. So they're just kind of small. So let's see. They'll be kind of flatter too. So I need kind of a bigger one, maybe more than that. Okay. Oh, there it is. And then a smaller one for like kind of, it's like a It's like a cap right there. Like no room here. Okay. Okay, I got those pieces. Now, I need the watch hands. They're long and skinny, right? So it's basically just like a worm. You're gonna stretch it out. Not too long though, right? I'm just gonna use your thumb and forefinger. These are the best way to sculpt. Some of you this is like Play-Doh experience, right? Some of you may not have worked with Play-Doh very much. Play-Doh is the prerequisite. Okay. So notice how they're not that long because our watch is not very big. In fact, this one might be too long. I think it is. If it is, I can just kind of like, notice how the end is, well, the problem is it's, let's see. But see, it gets really skinny and it's a little too long, so I'm just going to chop it off with my paper clip. The problem is it doesn't cut that great. Yeah. Okay. And maybe this will be the hour hand. I'm just going to cut off that real thin tip. Yeah, whatever, it's close enough. But thin is pretty good. Okay, so now you want to figure out the time. I'm just going to do, I don't know, 3 o'clock something. Oh, no, yeah, that's 3. So it's going to be 3:00, I don't know, 3:07. Right? Make sure if it's way longer than that clock, you have to cut it down so it fits. And it's going to go to the center, right? So like you start in the center. If it's like way out here, you got to like tear that off. Now, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to use my bigger sphere and I'm just going to press it in the middle and it's going to make like a, I don't know, like a screw or like a little bolt. There. You just kind of press it down. And then I got my smaller sphere, right? I put it on top and I press that down too. And then that flattens out it does 2 things. It flattens out and it sticks because you're pressing it in, right? And so that looks pretty good. You know, it's kind of like that. Okay, now here are my watch hands, but you can see here I've got like little arrows. Arrows are kind of tricky, but they're not impossible. It's just, again, you're just going to use, you know, a very, very small amount. Going to make a very small. Now your hands are smaller than mine, so I don't want to hear any excuses. It's pretty small. And you're probably just going to bend it in the middle. Like, that's impossible, Mr. Smith. I know. I've got big hands, so. Okay, there it is. It's hard to get this thing perfect, but you just kind of press it down. Maybe I could have done that. If yours is bigger, that's okay. Probably would have looked better if it was a little bigger. Let's see here. Same thing. So it's a really tiny little worm snake thing. Okay. And then you're going to kind of bend it in the middle. There it is. You can see it on video. It's kind of thin, but when I flatten it down, there you can see. See, it's kind of thin. It's barely on. But when I flatten it down, it kind of makes it a little more, not so thin because it's flattening out a little. So that's pretty good. That's kind of hard to do, but just give it a try. It's hard to peel the stuff up, so try your best. Okay, so now I'm almost done here. So again, before I want to put this bend in it, right? Because it's like melting off of the edge of the table, right? But before I do that, I want to make sure that my numbers are visible and all my details are good. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to check them. I'm going to press down a little more just to make sure it goes in. Like this 10. This 10's kind of fading. So I'm going to go in and kind of repress it. Okay, my 3, I can go in a little deeper. Just want to be very careful. These Roman numerals are what really make it look cool. So don't neglect these. Okay. So remember, Roman numeral 9 is a 1 before an X. X is for 10 typically. And then numbers after the 10, you know, make it a higher number. So this is 10 plus 1, 2, that's 12. So the two numbers, the 2 1s after the 10 make it a 12. And then this is a 6. A V is a 5. So a V is a 5. But a 1 after that V adds to the 5. So it's a 6. So 1 plus 5 is 6. So that's a 6. We don't use Roman numerals anymore, but they're fancy. Okay, so, oh, and then you could always check these things too. So like if you're, these look pretty good for me, but like maybe that one I can press in a little more. You can press these in just so that they are nice and neat. You know, if you want to make this more like a screw, I can do like a little line here. There's different things you can do. Like I'm okay with stuff like that. That makes it look like a little screw. I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to put more details in there, you can. I don't know what you would do though. You can put little, I don't know. You can put little marks along the edge. Whatever you want to do is fine by me. But this is good enough for class. This is good enough for what we're going to do. So everything looks good. I went back and checked my details. Now it's time I need to make it like foldy, right? So you want to find, let's see, do I have a box or something? Nope. I'm just going to have to hold my camera. The best thing to do is to go on the side of your table, right? Now, when you fold it, make sure that you have like at least half of it on the top. If it's too low, it won't ever stay on. Like this one, I really like this one, but it has too much hanging, and so it's heavy, so sometimes it falls off. So you want to go kind of like half, maybe a little more than half, so kind of halfway. Like you can see I can start bending it. Okay, that looks pretty good, but the real way to do this is to actually kind of put it on your, so I have to hold my camera, so it's going to be kind of funky. So here we go. Ooh, see. Okay, so let's see, here's the edge of my table. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here. Let's see here. Whoa. Okay, and I'm going to you don't want to totally break it, but you want to press it down on that, you want to kind of press it down on that corner. There you go. And make sure it's like at least half. That looks pretty good. Then you can, if your watch was like super perfect, you can kind of maybe pull on it a little. Ugh. I'm just gonna like maybe droop it a little. Maybe make it a little distorted. I don't know. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so I kind of distorted it a little. That's okay, because remember, this is a melting clock. Don't pull it too far because it'll tear or it'll be too heavy. So that's about right. But make sure this kind of lays flat. You can kind of press it down a little. Don't press it down too hard. You don't want to lose your details. And then you can always, like if you did, I'm okay with my details, but you could press in a little more, you know. And then you want to let it dry here. So let it dry here for, I don't know, 20 minutes. But here's the thing. Every once, you can see my sock. Every once in a while, this part's getting dry faster because the air is like kind of, you know, whatever. It's reaching the top surface of your clock real easily. But underneath, it's not getting as much air. So to make sure that the whole thing dries pretty good, I recommend so you kind of leave it on the edge of your table. Maybe after like a half hour, you're going to come and you're just going to very carefully kind of lift it up and then kind of move it over a little bit, because what happens is it kind of lets air in there, and then you just kind of move it over and then let it dry some more. But it'll dry on the top, it'll dry faster than it does on the bottom. So maybe eventually, or I don't know, maybe you can just see, the problem is it's not going to, if you lay it on its side, it's gonna this will get lots of air, but then it's gonna totally not dry, like hanging off the edge. So I recommend you leave it on the edge of your table, and then every half hour just kind of peel it up and move it over a little bit. The act of peeling it up kind of makes it so this isn't just totally in contact with the table. And then there. So that's it. And then when you're all done, it's going to kind of look like this. Whoa, camera, whoa. That was exciting. Okay, so camera. So, but anyways, when it's all dry, it's going to look like this. Then you definitely want to put your name on it. So Sharpie or black marker. Make sure, because it's hard for me to keep track of all the assignments. So you're going to put your name here, right? And then put the whatever letter. So like if you're in Corver's class, you'll put a K, circle it. Or if you're in Vanderkirk, VK, circle it, right? Woodhead, W, circle it. And then you'll turn this in. Put your name, not my name, right? And bring it to school. So bring it to school. It's officially due December 3rd, so you should be done by then. If you don't get it to me on school that day, that's okay. Just bring it the next week. But when I collect all these, like I said, I'm going to put a wash. A wash is a very watered down paint, and then sometimes there's some like soap in it. The soap kind of pushes it's complicated, but the soap pushes the paint into the cracks, but then and you can kind of wipe off the rest, and it'll kind of like, it'll get in the edges. This is actually black clay, so it'll be a little different, but hopefully this will look really good. The dark will get in there, and you'll be able to see your numbers a little better. And then I'm going to paint a gloss where the glass would be, and it'll look nice. And then you can take it home, or we'll use it if we have a art show. We'll show them on our art show. But the fun thing is you can just hang it off the side of, a table or something like that. And that's like Dali's clock that he painted. Okay, so that's it for this week. Make sure it dries. This is pretty dry. It takes a couple days to fully dry on the back. So like this dried quicker, but then this is finally getting dry. I made this like a few days ago. Anyways, so that's it. That's it for our Dali clock. Hope you had fun. Oh, if you have extra clay, do whatever you want with it. Make something interesting. Experiment. Hopefully you don't have too much extra, but I kind of have a lot. It's better to have extra than not enough. If you didn't have, when we were making this thing, if you didn't, you could just always peel a little more off the edge. If you needed some more, like for your watch hands, like I ran out of extra clay, we'll just take some off the edge. I can't send it home to you. So you're like, I didn't have enough clay. Can you send me a whole nother packet? No. Just peel it off your, edge. And that's it. Okay, so I don't know. Have fun. You can play with this stuff. It's going to dry soon, but do whatever you want. You can twist it. I don't know. You can figure out the properties of it. You can't really smooth this stuff out. But you can have, I don't know. You can have a lot of fun with it. So anyways, that's it. So that's the clay project. So have a good week and have a great Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you next time. Bye.